To begin preventive maintenance, we recommend putting the T3100 in the upright repair position. Make sure that the unit is properly secured using jack stands or a lift device attached to the front bumper. First, we'll start with inspecting the spray filter. Make sure you move the ball valve to the closed position, as shown in the video, then crack open the black strainer assembly. Make sure that you have something to catch any liquid that may be left over in that black strainer assembly. Once you've got it open, remove the 50 mesh screen filter and inspect it. You may have to run some clean water over it to clean it or some light brushing. Once it's cleaned, reinstall and close the black cap assembly. Make sure you have it down tightly and move the ball valve to the open position. There are 4 grease fittings on current T3100s. Make sure you reference your manual for all grease locations. There's one on the right front steering arm, on the left front steering arm, on the lower steering arm, just above the skid plate, and on the front axle center swivel. For belt inspection, you will need a tape measure. Starting with the pump belt, the inside distance should be no less than 1.5 inches. The idler's pulley spring should measure at 2¼ inches from the washer to the end of the bracket. If it is longer than that, tighten the jam nuts to compress the spring to 2¼ inches. Make sure you tighten the back jam nut so that it holds in place securely. Check the steering cables using a tape measure. The cables should move no more than 1.5 inches. As shown in the video, you can hold the tape measure in place and move the cables to see how far they move. If they move more than 1.5 inches, you will need to tighten the cables. To tighten the cables, you can use 2 1/2-inch wrenches to loosen the bottom jam nut on the steering cable. Once you've loosened that jam nut, you can use the 1/2-inch wrench to tighten the cable clockwise until you have the correct tension. Measure the tension and make sure it moves no more than 1½ inches. Once you have the correct tension, use the 2 wrenches to tighten up the jam nuts and hold the cable in place. Next, remove the green tray or 3-in-1 tank to get access to the engine. Remove the engine oil dipstick and wipe it off. Reinsert it and remove to check the oil level. Oil level should register between the 2 circles on the dipstick. You can refer to the Briggs owner's engine manual for oil types and amounts required. Next, check the oil level in the hydro reservoir. Remove the black cap. You should see oil in that reservoir up to the cold line. If you do not see oil in that reservoir, make sure you add it to that lower cold line. Now remove and inspect the air filter. Turn the 2 plastic screws and remove the outer housing. Then remove the air filter. You can clean the air filter by tapping it on the side of the frame, but do not clean the air filter with compressed air or a blower, as it can damage that air filter. Once you've cleaned it, reinstall the plastic cover, making sure that they snap back into place correctly. Now check the choke linkage on the side of the engine. As you move the cable, you should see the linkage move back and forth. Now we'll go over some areas on the front end that we recommend cleaning. Remove the 2 thumb screws on the front green shroud and slide off the front green cover to get access to the front area of the T3100. Use compressed air to clean off the pulleys. You can also use low pressure water, but we recommend following with air to make sure they are dried properly. Make sure to get in between the two stacked pulleys on the variator pulley. You can turn by hand and blow air in between. Now check the belt tension for the spreader belt to make sure it's tight enough that it will not come off. Remove the spinner clip and lower the spinner plate to get access to the lower hopper and the spinner shaft. Use compressed air to blow out those areas, as that's where fertilizer usually likes to build up. Reinstall the spinner clip and make sure that it snaps properly onto the shaft so that it holds in place. Check your hopper gate for proper function. The gate should open and close freely. If it does not, clean with a brush or compressed air to make sure nothing's in the way. If you have any questions or need any help, give us a call at 763-785-1000.